Speaking of a guest right now, I know everybody hates him in Atlanta. So,
Jim Leyritz.
oh, where is he? Right. Oh, there he is.
There it is.
What's up, Jimmy?
What's happening, Denny? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Good to see you, brother.
How did you get stuck with this guy?
Gotta love the New York boys, man.
So listen,
and
oh no, Jimmy.
go ahead,
So
Eddie.
I was talking to Denny, and he said that he let up a little bit. He wasn't focused on that game 4 after.
No. Tell him what I said. No, Eddie. Jimmy, what I told him was, I said,
Sorry.
I was dealing for 5 innings, and then my thing was I was the goofball on the 4 days I didn't pitch, and then on the day I pitched, I always tried to stay locked in, and I was telling the story that in the bottom of the 5th inning, I came up to hit, and Kirby Puckett was sitting in the first row because they were honoring him with the Roberto Clemente Man of the Year award that game. And
right.
I never do this, but I looked over at him because, being a former team with him, and I smiled and winked at him, and Kirby's like, "Let's go, come on, let's stay locked in," and I go, I got it, man. And then sure enough, though, I went out there, I told Eddie, I went out there in the 6th inning, and I'm like, damn it, he was right, man. I let my guard down just for that split second, man, and you guys jumped on me in that 6th inning, man.
Yeah, that was it's one of those things that in those kind of games, that momentum can change so quickly.
So quickly. Hey, Eddie, I got to tell you a really quick, funny story, too, about Jimmy. It was after the 97 season, I brought my dad out to this charity event out in Palm Springs, California. It was like softball and golf and stuff, whatever. And so my dad's a big Joker like me, too. And so Jimmy's there with his wife at the time. And he goes, "Hey, Denny, that's Leyritz right there, right?" And he goes, "All right, watch this." He goes, Hey, Denny, man, let me know where that Leyritz, let me know if you see that Leyritz, man. I got a fucking bone to pick with him, man. I hate that guy, man. And Leyritz turns around, he looks at him like that, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, there you are, man. Yeah, I fucking hate you, man," like that. And Jimmy finally looks at me, and he goes, "Dude, is this guy serious, man?" Like that. I go, "No, he's messing with you, man."
Yeah, I didn't know it was his dad.
Yeah, I know. He didn't know it was my dad either, too. Yep. He goes, "I'm just kidding with you, Jimmy." He goes, "You messed up my son's game 4 start, man."
Yeah.
That
was funny. Yeah.
You guys are up 6-3, right? And Wohlers comes in, and he's got Jimbo. It's 1st and 2nd, right? When Jimmy was battling, because he was fouling off his fastballs left and right. I mean, the guy was throwing 98, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys think, "Oh shit, man, Jimmy's on him"? Was there any doubt in the club?
Let me tell you something, Eddie. I don't care who's throwing. If it's our Aroldis Chapman, these days, whatever, I guarantee you Jimmy can still hit his fastball, man. Because one thing we know about Jim Leyritz is he can hit anybody's fastball. He can turn anybody's fastball around, And so that was always the book on Jimmy is that, man, if, when in doubt, you don't want to try to get beat with the fastball because he does, seriously. I will tout you on that, Jimmy. You know that, everybody knows that. So that was the one horseshit thing for Wohlers, to be honest with you, Eddie, was that the abuse that he took from the armchair experts, What the hell was he thinking throwing him a slider, and stuff, whatever, he throws 99 to 100 miles an hour. Well, because the guy who's up there hitting can hit anybody's fastball. So the reason why Wohlers became such a better closer those years in 95, 96, and 97 was because he finally started throwing his slider and his split, over the plate for strikes. Before it was all or nothing, he was just coming at you with that 99 to 100. So it just so happened, he left the slider up and Jimmy took advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, you leave pitchers up in the zone, especially in the World Series. I don't care who the hitter is; he's going to hit it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line, Eddie, is Denny did his job to get the ball to the bullpen, and then the bottom line is I still don't know why Bobby took out Bilecki.
Yeah, he just said we were just talking about that. He was just talking about that. Yeah.
And I understand. You can look at it both ways, but at the same time, the eye test of him, how he just struck out O'Neill and Tino Martinez. I'm like, I'm going to give him one more hitter till somebody gets on base, then go to my closer. Things might have been a little bit different.
Yep. I was telling Eddie right before you came on, Jimmy, that whenever Bobby, unfortunately he's been dealing with some health issues, but over the last few years, every time we'd be back for an alumni event, as soon as he'd see me and Bilecki, he goes, "Ah, damn it, man. I should have left you in, Bilecki. I should have left you in, man."
Well, and another thing is you can't really blame Wohlers too. I mean, who was the shortstop? Belliard. That it was a tailor-made double play ball, right?
Yep.
I think Mariano Duncan was hitting Jimmy. Am I?
That was
I
it.
think
Yep,
so.
that was it.
So you can't really. I
Listen,
mean, he did his job. Waller.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Now, do you guys, both of you
Well,
guys, hold on, Jimmy, do you guys disagree with Tim McCarver saying, well, if you get beat with your fastball, but he left a slider. But there was some, Jimmy, there was some sliders that you were reaching for it and you fouled it off.
well, the one pitch before then, yeah, I just barely got a hold of it. And like I have never talked to Mark about what he saw, but I took about a half a step off the plate because I knew I couldn't catch up to his fastball and on the inside corner, so I was going to take that pitch away from him. And I think in his mind, he saw that corner open up even more, and he really tried to get out there, and that's why he hung it. And I think it was just one of those situations. I don't think if he would have made a good pitch, he would have got me. It was just a matter of him leaving it up in the zone.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Eddie. It's one of those things where if he dots a slider just off the corner, whatever, and Jimmy swings and miss, then McCarver's going to be saying, "Oh, what a great pitch!" Boy, that was really smart.
Well, and the other thing is Tim McCarver doesn't have the scouting report that says Jim Leyritz is a dead red fastball hitter. Don't get beat on a fastball. But McCarver doesn't have those. But I give him a lot of credit. He was doing some good announcing at that point as far as the way he made it sound. But yeah, no, I think and Eddie at that time, I hit the 95 home run, which was a one-time thing. It really wasn't established my postseason prowess as far as home runs go until we faced each other in '98 with the Padres.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yep. I was going to say he got us again in '98 with the Padres.
Oh, where'd he go? Look at that. Hold on, Jimmy. What the hell? Call back.
Just came in here to throw some daggers at me.
Well, hold on a minute. Let's start all over. Okay, Jimmy, you're back. What I'm saying is that I was talking to Denny. I was telling him that they were up 6-0. The whole crowd, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, was going nuts. They were like, "Oh, there's no way. That's it. The Braves are taking this game." Now, when Jimmy hit the home run, did that stadium, was it silent right after when he tied the game?
I was telling Jimmy, yeah. I mean, it sucked the life out of it, man. There's no question. I mean, that changed the series. You guys just fed off that, man, and then you could see how Andy just fed off it because obviously the competitor Andy is anyways. He was chomping at the bit anyways to get back after he had a tough game one. But then for you guys to win that game like you did, I mean, how could you not feed off that momentum going into Game 5 then?
But did you guys panic when you guys lost? Were you guys thinking in the clubhouse mentally like, "Oh shit, listen, this is tough now"?
It's certainly, it certainly like puts a damper on things, and stuff, and it changes the mood a little bit. However, the big thing for us though too was as much as we knew they had Andy Pettitte coming off a great year that he had, we also had the guy that was going to be winning the Cy Young that year, and John Smoltz, who, in my opinion, too, like you were talking about Coney, Smoltz, I'll go to battle with him, with anybody, too, in the big games, man. Because, so anytime you're going out in the mound with John Smoltz on there, you got a good chance still. So it wasn't like we felt that deflated and stuff,
Right.
Anything could happen still. It just so happened that Andy just outpitched him the next night.
But that was
and I think the biggest thing was when we took the plane right out to Atlanta. There was somebody said something in the paper about, "We're just glad that we swept in New York so we don't have to come back." And the motivation, that was Joe Torre, was if we win Game 4, guys, we go back to New York, we got them. And I think that's where that changed. As far as your clubhouse goes, you still had Smoltz, Clavin, and Maddox. I mean, you're not hurting,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think in our clubhouse it was, we're back to New York. Let's see what we can do, because when we got home, we felt like we could change the momentum.
all right. So
without a doubt,
here we have Denny. So here's the thing. Now, Smoltz admitted he pitched one of his best games ever against Pettitte, which was Game 5 in '96, the World Series. Now, when Pettitte beat Smoltz, were you guys thinking, "Oh shit, now we're down 3-2"? Was there a little panic button? Even though Maddox is starting Game 6, I get it, but was there panic?
Yep, without a doubt. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Now that I'll admit, go after the Game 4, as tough as that was, and stuff. Like we were just saying, knowing that we still had Smoltz ready to go, to take nothing away from knowing full well we had Maddox going on the mound for Game 6 and stuff. when you lose a game like that with your horse on the mound, your guy, whatever and stuff, and now, like Jimmy said, now we got to go back to New York, where into the jungle, so to speak, whatever, those fans and stuff. You could sense something, Eddie. Nobody, no, you never want to admit that, but you could absolutely sense it on our plane ride going to the field. That before Game 6, there was just a different feeling than we had, than the previous games.
Did Bobby Cox say anything when you guys got to Yankee Stadium before? Was there a team meeting, or he's like, whatever, just play it?
Yeah, no, I mean, Bobby was just always good about trying to, trying not to make too much of it, stay even keel. Look, the game's still the same old thing. It's now it's just down to a 1-game series. You got to win the next one to play the next one.
And I can tell you, Eddie, in '98 when I was on the Padres and we played the Yankees, and Tino Martinez hit that home run, our clubhouse was the same way. We knew we could still compete with them, but man, that took the air out of us like crazy, and that's why they end up sweeping us, because we just didn't have that extra confidence that we had going into Game 1, because of this is the team of the century, the team that's winning, that was part of our clubhouse also. So I can't imagine you guys had to be the same way.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, before 2021, I'm sure from 1996 to 2021, how many people will say, I hate Jimmy fucking Leyritz? Those Braves.
Well, outside of New York, maybe.
Because,
well, Eddie, the funny thing is that they just had an article come out in the Atlanta Constitution 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. I have now gone down to the 4th most hated athlete in Atlanta history. So I've been replaced from being number 1 for many, many years, and I'm down to 4th now.
Wow, Jimmy, you downgraded. Damn, holy shit.
See, but that says a lot, though, man. Anytime you can be the most hated in another city, that says something about the career you had, though.
Well, is there anything you want to say to Jimmy, or Jimmy, you want to say something to Denny before we let Jimmy?
Well, go? I don't know if I ever told Denny the story, but in 1982, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, me and Barry Larkin were supposed to be the number 1 and number 2 picks. And 4 days before the draft, I went out and played tennis and fractured the side of my foot. And the scouts called up my dad while I was out playing tennis and said, hey, we want to draft your son. Is he willing to sign? I got to move up a little bit. Hold on. I got New York people.
Hey, come on now. Step on it. Let's go.
But so they said to my dad, would he sign? Long story short, I came home with the air cast. I was only going to be out 2 or 3 weeks. The scouts said they were going to pass on me. They'll come back and watch me play. 5 weeks later, they came back and watched me play in a tournament. And they said to my dad, we want to sign him. And my dad said, okay, give him 10 grand. And they said, we can only give him 5. And my dad said, screw that. He's going to college. So I went to Middle Georgia for 2 years, University of Kentucky for 1 year, never got drafted. Ended up signing out of the Kansas Jayhawk League, the Collegiate League, and with the Yankees. But the part of the story that all of a sudden these scouts told at one of their conventions was in 1996, those 2 scouts were sitting in John Schuerholz's box. They were Atlanta Braves scouts.
No way.
For 5 grand, we could have changed this entire situation.
Oh shit!
Wow, man.
Yeah, that's a crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Denny, anything you have to say to Jimmy?
Oh man, hey, just great to see you, Jimmy, man.
Yeah, we need to get on the links together.
Absolutely, brother, for sure, man.
All right,
Thanks,
Jimmy.
thanks,
thank
guys.
you so much. I wanted to surprise my guests. So there we go.
All right, guys.